Welcome back to Area DMG. I'm your host, Whip Wesley, the Mile High Mouth, and today Nintendo announced the Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch is the name for their new system, which, well, it used to be the NX, and you should go back and watch some of my older speculation on the NX, where I said, oh, it's going to have detachable controller things. It's going to be a detachable screen. You know, sometimes it's hard being right all the time. Yeah, but anyways, let me get into a little bit of the Nintendo Switch. The first thing I'm going to grab, this is the only tablet I could find. It's a Nook. It's close to the right size. But essentially, what the Nintendo Switch has, and we're going to go and do a breakdown of the video and a breakdown of some of the features. This is a long video. It's going to be a very long video. Only thing we don't have yet is confirmation of whether or not it's going to be a touchscreen or not. I speculate a little bit on it. You'll hear a little bit of I recorded the stuff where I'm taking apart their video and where I'm taking apart the press release photos that they gave us before more information was available on it. So some of the speculation, right now it looks like it might have a touchscreen, a capacitive touchscreen, so that's going to be awesome. Anyways, it's a little bit like there's a controller thing and a little dock that you put it in, and it's about that size pretty much. So you're holding it, and there's also a little attachment so you can connect it to your TV and use you can put it into its little dock, and then you can take the little side controller things off and attach them to another item and just play it like that. I compare it a little bit to other stuff in the rest of the video, which you'll see. This is kind of long video. Anyways, they announced this, and it's quite awesome. Although I did find that there were some people who were comparing it to like a dog's face or something. So pretty much you're playing games on that. Some of the controllers looked a little small, but you'll get what I mean. This introduction will have to be kind of short because, well, the video breakdown and the picture breakdown are insane. You'll like these. A little awkward at points, but I think you'll like it. We break down as much as we can. Turns out, actually, I threw my notes over there, so I will go and retrieve those. Normally, these are attached to like part of my stuff over here, but yeah. Let's talk about the stuff that they showed. Game-wise, we know NVIDIA is making the chipset. They showed off a car cradle. I'm thinking you're going to see other people show off cradles and screen protectors and junk for this thing. Anyways, they started out with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. They showed off Skyrim. They showed off Mario Kart 8 or 9 or some special edition of that. NBA 2017 or 2018 by the time this comes out, which is March. Super Mario Galaxy 3, I guess that's what they're going to call that. They showed DS-style game cards, Amiibo support. They didn't show explicitly, but it's in there. Splatoon, they showed off, and that looks good. But there's a list of developers who will also be shown. A lot of logos at the end of the video. I'm going to read off those developers right here, and bear with me on that. That would be 505 Games, Activision Publishing Incorporated, Arc System Works Co. Ltd., Atlas Co. Ltd., Audio Kinetic Incorporated, Autodesk Incorporated, Bandai Namco Entertainment Incorporated, Bethesda, Capcom Co. Ltd., Codemasters, CRI Middleware Co. Ltd., that's Cryware, DENA or Dena Co. Ltd., they're the people behind Miitomo and such, Electronic Arts, they make stuff, Epic Games Inc., Firelight Technologies from Software Inc., Frozen Byte, Game Trust, Grasshopper Manufacture Inc., Gung Ho Online Entertainment Inc., Hamster Corporation, who make a lot of like mobile game type things, and some stuff for 3DS. Havoc, Inti Creates Corporate Company Ltd., the people behind like Azure Striker Gunvolt 1 and 2, and the people who worked on Mighty Number 9, and also I think they're working on Bloodstained right now. Yeah. Okay, Koei Tecmo Games Co. Ltd. You know them for all their Muso type stuff like Hyrule Warriors. Let's see, Konami Digital Entertainment Co. Ltd. Level 5 Incorporated. Professor Layton and such. Marvelous Incorporated, Maximum Games LLC, Nippon Ichi Software Incorporated. I like that one. That's the Disgaea people and such. Oh, I mentioned Marvelous Inc. Those are the people who did Story of Seasons. Yay! Okay, Nippon Ichi Parody Bit Incorporated, Platinum Games Incorporated, for Bayonetta 3. Rad Game Tools Incorporated, Reko Choku Corp Company Ltd, Sega Games Co. Ltd, Silicon Studio Corporation, Spike Chunsoft Co. Ltd, so maybe we'll get some Danganronpa or something on this, Square Enix Co. Ltd, Starbreeze Studios, Take-Two Interactive Studios, Telltale Games, THQ Nordic, Tokyo RPG Factory Company Ltd. Those are the I Am Setsuna people. TT Games. Ubisoft. I don't know what they make. Ubitus Incorporated. Unity Technologies Incorporated. Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment, so Lego stuff. And Web Technology Corp. Those are all the people they announced as working with them on this. I would say a good 30% of those are middleware people. Middleware and sound creation. Middleware, sound, and game engines. So essentially what they're aiming at, like Square at, is they're aiming at the people who make games for iPhones and Android and independent titles. A lot of third party. And what I mean by the real third party. There's two different tiers, I guess you could say, of third party. There's the more expensive third party people, like say Activision or whatnot, and EA. And then there's the cheaper third party people, which would be like WayForward Technologies, Image and Form, Renegade Kid doesn't exist anymore. It's two things now. That type of thing. Those types of indies. We call them indies, although I refer to them as third party. There's upper third party and lower third party, and it's not really upper and lower in terms of quality, it's upper and lower in terms of cost. Similar to like high cost third party, low cost third party. Low cost third party would be where you have your where your Minecrafts came from, essentially. Your Five Nights at Freddy's came from those types of things. And all of those tools, like, oh look, Unity, all this stuff there, all of that architecture means that this is going to be fairly easy to work with. It's an NVIDIA chipset, and it looks like 30% of the people that they mentioned in their press release as third parties are all game engine. Meaning, oh, you're working on something on the computer. You could port that to the Nintendo Switch so quickly. And the Nintendo Switch, it's what I wanted them to do a long time ago. It's where we need to go with this. We're going to be taking screens with us. We're going to be taking these things with us, and it's going to be good. I'm a little disappointed that it looks like they might be trying to kill off both the Wii U and the Nintendo 3DS with this thing, although they did say they are going to support the Nintendo 3DS all the way into 2018, which they technically could. Especially considering that we don't know if there's other additions that you can... I like the idea of having that set screen where you can attach other stuff to it. That'd be interesting. Looking forward to seeing what types of covers you can put for the screen so that it doesn't get damaged or hurt where you take it out. But yeah, you'll see the video for this, which we're going to break down fairly well, and then also you'll see a breakdown of some of the pictures for it. And then you'll see a list of all the companies. So stick around and check out the rest of this video. Okay, let's go ahead and break down the NX video. We're going to go ahead and mute it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start talking over it and like pointing stuff out in the video. You can see this video on Nintendo's YouTube, so let's check it out. I'm taping it offhand so I can on the fly sit there and point stuff out physically. And also to avoid like their weird stuff. Anywho, let's see. Let's go ahead and play this. Here's the first scene of the new Ghostbusters. Like the proper right remix of it. Yeah, so this looks like Germany for the most part. Or one of those foreign countries. Yep, one of those countries in Europe. Or maybe this is supposed to be is this supposed to be like New York or something? Anyways, let's get back to this. La la la, guy playing The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on his Nintendo Switch. There's this on it. Looks pretty great. Pretty great. Good stuff. Okay. Now he's like, my huge dog wants to go out and play. Okay, let's pause for a second here. These are USB ports. Here's the power light and an indicator light. It doesn't seem to have a second thing here. I certainly hope that even though it's matte, I don't really like that gigantic logo right here, because that's a little unfortunate. But I expect that people will cover up with that with like artwork or whatnot. If you're somebody who's doing Decal Girl or whatnot, you're going to like this stuff. But yeah, this will look good when you cover it up with something. And this is matte. This part's matte. This part over here seems to be glossy. We have two HDMI ports. Not HDMI, I mean USB ports. I don't know what the back of it looks like, and we have not seen a good picture of the back of the system. But here we have the little grooves which these controllers are going to go into, and down here at the bottom seems to be something that like indicates that it's inserted into that. So let's keep going a little bit. Okay, pause. Oh, here we go. Here's our first look at the inside of these. Same type of bottom switch here on the Nintendo Switch. They're calling this the Joy-Con controller. This is Joy-Con left and Joy-Con right. I think in order to disengage it from what it looks like, you actually have to push in the minus and the plus symbols, because I think those are helping keep it locked. I do like that the little Joy-Con controller thing, oh yeah, this is a touchscreen, that this controller here is ridged and such. It reminds me a little bit of the ridges and the size and shape of a Sega Dreamcast controller. So it's probably about that size, but thankfully not that painful. So that's what that makes me think. It's got much better ridges on it, so similar to like a DualShock. Thing to note, let me go back just slightly here for a second, because you'll note that it tells you how many controllers are attached to it and engaged. What's interesting about these indicator lights is that there are 4 of them, which that seems kind of a little strange. I'm thinking that these 2 controller options here are not the only things you can attach to the side of the NX. If you can see kind of a little here, you see this little green light. Let's zoom in a little bit. Doot. Boop. Yeah. See that green light right there? That means that the top of that controller is there. I'm guessing that you will be able to purchase other pods for this, which means that you might have a game which has a separate different pod, or you can take both of these out there, and since they will communicate with the system itself, because I'm not sure what the dock adds to it, and there may be other accessories that will use it that you can dock it into. But let's get back to this real quick. We'll go over the controllers in a little bit, and we'll do a different thing for that because we're going to use the actual images that they've provided with us along with this video to break that down. Okay, let's pop this up again. And there we go. He just pops those down in there. It's probably got a satisfying click because this plus and minus look like you have to press them in. Oop, let me bring back a bit. Here, let me bring that back a little. Sorry about that. Lost you for a second. Wah! You can see my reflection in there. Hey, how you doing? Anywho, let's go back a little. Doop. Yeah, here's the system. And what he's going to go ahead and do here in a moment. Actually, let me see if I can improve this. That should help. No, you can still see me. There's penguins in the background. Anywho, here we've got the little grooves and such. But when I want to see something when he pushes this in. I want to see if this indicator light goes off. Let's see. He's pulled those. Nope, it does not. It does not go off, but it looks like it has a satisfying click to it, which allows him to gently lift the system up from there. So I'm guessing the system We haven't seen the very bottom of the unit, so I'm guessing there's a little thing that it's attached to at that point. Okay, there we go. Let's get this back. Doot, doot, doot. Okay. Let's bring this up. Now he's playing this one here. He's playing it again. And you note there's a little bit of decreased... yeah. There's a little bit of frame stutter in here, but here's something people need to note. This particular video is simulated. So a lot of the images that you're seeing on there are fairly simulated. In other words, clarity or frame rate may vary. Okay, one thing to note. Here are your speakers. There's a speaker here and a speaker here. And I noticed that it looked like there was a microphone speaker. There may be some motion control stuff here inside the main tablet. Let's go back here for a moment. Oh, I like the fact that the little side buttons have R and ZR, and ZL, ZL. Sorry, L and ZL. Nintendo Switch. Now we're on a plane. Okay, we've got this dude over here at the airport. Notice there's another person playing it. This particular system uses game cards. The game cards look to be a bit thicker than Nintendo 3DS cards, so they won't fit in a Nintendo 3DS, and they seem to be slightly wider too. That'll be interesting. This means that this will not be backwards compatible with the Nintendo 3DS and all those, which is a shame, but it's to be expected. This is their new home console quote hybrid handheld hybrid. There's also a there is a stereo headphone jack right over here, which means this is not an Apple product. And over here, this is actually a heating vent. That's, from what I can tell, it looks like that's just a vent. Okay, let's go back here. He's hitting on this girl, I guess. They're not street passing, which is a shame. Oh, we'll go over what's on the very back of this a little bit later. But you'll know, here's a better look. The volume is on the top, and the power button is on the top. Okay. The whole system feels a little bit like one of these, like these types of tablets. It also has a built-in kickstand, which looks like that's just ready to snap off. I would probably carry an additional thing. Oh, on the very bottom here. Note on the very bottom that we have this little thing. This probably lines up and keeps it. This little groove right back here probably lines up with inside the cradle to detect that it's there. Now these are just more heating vents, but that little groove in the middle there is definitely where, when you slide it into the system, into the cradle, that's what you're lining it up with. And then of course more heating vents up here. Although these may also have to do with the speaker. I like this part here because that's kind of what you want with that. He's playing Skyrim. Let's see. Buttons look to be about the same size as the buttons you see on the new Nintendo 3DS XL, which, not sure what I think about that. This is kind of what the Wii U should have had. Anywho, he's using this without the Joy-Con controller, so it's one in each hand. So these are wirelessly communicating with this. They're wirelessly communicating with inside this plane too. So I guess it's like a local area wireless. I'm not sure what the protocol for that will be. Doot doot doot. Yeah, here he is playing more of Skyrim on the go. Doot doot. He brings it back in, docks it, grabs the. This is not the normal Pro controller that people are like, oh, it's the Nintendo Pro. No, this is a new type of Pro controller. This one actually has a D-pad, and it looks to be like a slightly thicker or fatter version of this thing. You have some additional buttons on top of it, which I find kind of interesting, because like they haven't given us a good shot of that controller yet. Yeah, there's some interesting buttons on that. There's 2 additional buttons on there that they haven't given us any information about. I think those have to do with like sharing and such. I'll go over that when I do a button breakthrough. Okay, this is interesting, as this is like a little it's a little tablet stand that's in there, and he's comfortably sliding it into the top there. I'm sure that this thing has some vent stuff so that it will breathe through the vent on the top. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Man, that 90s haircut. This is a story, etc. Okay, so these parts here, they're using these little hand cramp controllers. It makes me think of like holding one of these. So I'm like, hand cramping up, looking just at that. Especially considering that each of those controllers has like, let's go back a little. It looks like these controllers, oh wait. Just notice something about these controllers that they're using there. Look very carefully. Okay. They're not using the ZR and the ZL. So unless there's something they're not telling us, maybe they're using, maybe that little thing where it locks into place is also pressable. If that's true, that's kind of an interesting idea. So let's go back again. Here they are at Mario Kart. They're playing what looks like Mario Kart 8 or Mario Kart Double Dash in terms of the way the items are. And you've got King Boo there, so it's either a specialized version of Mario Kart 8 or we are looking at an early concept for Mario Kart 9. Okay. Nintendo Switch. I love the yin-yang aspect of the logo. I mean, let's go back here and take a look at that logo. Am I the only one who doesn't notice that that's a yin-yang? That's a Harmony logo. That's Harmony. Yay, it's across most things. So the NX, the X actually was in fact cross. Oh man, the way they slammed that down there, I feel bad for that stand. More playing. That seems kind of weird. Well, this right here, they're playing an NBA 2007 type thing. I'm like, okay, whatever. I do like that these have wireless head-to-head. That's going to be good for games like Pokemon or whatnot. So let's get back over here. Oh, here she is playing with the same little thing. She's playing a Mario game. Note the amiibo over here. I'm guessing these amiibo, you'll either be able to scan them on the middle of this controller, or maybe the screen will have NFC. It's going to have NFC support after all. That's what they're hinting at with the amiibo. And look at those Mario amiibo over there. I wonder if you use them in any way in this new Mario Galaxy. Although, yeah, that's definitely a Mario Galaxy style game. It even has the weird little warp things. Okay, now she's being invited over. She's like, man, everyone, they want to play Mario with me? Or maybe they're playing Animal Crossing. We can hope. Again, I like how the front part of it's kind of glossy. It looks like it's got reinforced glass on that. Oh, let's go back a little bit. Okay, here's the Nintendo logo, a lot of the little support stuff there, and then this logo at the back here reminds me of the logos on the back of some of their handheld systems. Like this one here is a logo that says NOM on it. But yeah, this looks to be like your Wi-Fi, your wireless stuff that you have to have in there for legal reasons. Anywho, let's get back to the video. Hipsters. I think it's funny. They've got their little red glasses. Now, this is the best part of the video in my opinion. These people are planning out their strategy for how they're going to take out and cover the most ground in Splatoon. And this is what I wanted. Splatoon on the go. Okay, this looks to be the lockup button. This is your home button over there. I like how you don't have to disconnect this from that. The person there, someone's using the Pro Controller again. Although, this looks slightly different. We have the plus and minus. So I'm guessing you can also use the plus and minus as a button? Maybe I'm mistaken on that. Yeah. Okay, it doesn't look like those are for locking. It looks like plus and minus are an actual button, which means maybe they can be used for the volume like you could with the Wii U, or I'm not really sure. They could be additional buttons that you could put stuff to. Also, there's a traditional D-pad on this controller, which means that automatically this controller is superior to the split D-pad on the little Joy-Con controllers. Going back, we have this foreign Splatoon teams. And this is all simulated, of course. Like, they added those logos and stuff in later. Also, one thing I want to note about this. Okay, everyone brought their own NX, which means, sorry, their own Switch, which means that maybe these won't be too expensive. It would be nice if you could buy additional Switch screens or whatnot, and just have like your own you could dock them into the same thing, like kind of just like checking in or whatnot, because you know that this thing also charges this. It's got to automatically charge it. So here we go. I like the fact that there's new hairstyles in this Splatoon thing, and pants. New hairstyles and pant styles. And weapons, too. Some pretty interesting weapons. Also looks even better. And this, of course, is simulated, so these people are not actually looking at that footage. Okay, coming March 2017. Nintendo. And that's the Nintendo Switch. Here we had the different trademarks. We had NBA properties, game footage not final, graphics and features to change. Then we, of course, had Bethesda, a ZeniMax Media company, and trademarks are property of their respective owners, Nintendo Switch, etc., etc. So let's go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and cover some of the images that they gave us in the press packet. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and switch to that in just a moment. Okay, now we're going to take a look at the Nintendo Switch. Boop. Okay, yay. You see these right here? These are buttons. This is a button, this is a button, this is a button. These are all buttons. And this is the Joy-Con controller. One thing I noted about this is that it looks like you can attach more controllers to the Joy-Con, meaning that this right here, this Nintendo Joy-Con Switch, allows you to hook up other things to this. It's a proxy. These can operate on their own and connect to this, but this seems to also be able to connect to more than one. Or it's either that or it's something simple like, oh, you're a person, you have your own Nintendo Switch with you, and you have the Switch controllers. You're player 2, player 3, etc. Also, these are independent, so it'll be interesting to see if there will be other controllers you can attach to this. What I would like is something like this that you could attach like this side, and this other side would be like a camera attachment or a different kind of controller. Like, for example, maybe a trackball controller or something. I still hate this large logo there. That looks like it wants to be covered up by something nice. Let's go back over here. You'll note that the front is matte and the back is glossy. The actual system itself is glossy on the front, matte on the sides. Okay, love that logo. Love how it looks a bit like a yin yang going up. Interesting. This better be an IPS screen. This is, of course, simulated imagery, but still. Looks like here's your speaker. This looks to be a microphone port right here. Another speaker port. You've got these rounded edges. And it looks like this is a big plastic overlay over this. So, maybe, just maybe, this thing will have touch controls, like capacitive touch controls. Although, that would be wonderful for moving through the menus and for posting and such. It probably might not, but if it does, that would be wonderful. Okay, let's get back over here. We have ZR, ZL, etc. These are not a button. This is just to lock it in. That's what we have for what they showed here. Now, the other thing that they have is a list of the companies that are on board with the Nintendo Switch currently, which includes stuff like Bethesda and From Software and Platinum, etc. It'll be fun playing Bayonetta 3 with this thing. But yeah, this is your home button. This may operate as a home button as well outside of that. I think out of this, it might, when it's attached and you've got both there, it might operate as a share button. That should be interesting. These are their own buttons. At first I wasn't so sure. And then I noticed that the other controller has these two as a plus and minus as well, so these are obviously buttons. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 different buttons on this thing. Now, the way it's set up, I'm wondering how this would operate with like virtual console stuff if they do that, which they really should. Although it wouldn't surprise me if they had eventually like, okay, here's a newer version of like the Nintendo 3DS or something that's a different kind of product, and then the Switch. This right here is finally a combination of a console and a handheld. I know people are like, oh, it's a hybrid. Yes, it kind of is, but it's kind of where I want it to be. Oh, one thing to note about this is that it looks like this not only charges it, I'm wondering if there will actually be, this is actually, I'm guessing the guts inside of this allow you to upscale your games and such, and provide, additional boost. So one thing that makes me think is I need to know more about the screen. Let's get back down to the screen. I need to know more about this screen, like what the specs are on this screen, how big is the screen, how heavy is the screen. I like that it's got like a little microphone here and the speakers are right here, which could be interesting because, like I've mentioned before with this system, this and this being able to operate independently of this means that you could be holding those two things in your hand and you can place the screen somewhere else, like in a head-mounted display attachment, meaning something you put on your face and then you put this on your face. Depending on how heavy this puppy is, that would actually be interesting to see. This could literally go into a VR headset, and then you just hold these two items here, and you're good. It looks like it doesn't even need the dock for those, because these will operate normally without that. That'll be interesting to see what they do with that. Having the speakers behind the system means that you'll be able to get your audio and stuff outside of we need to know what the refresh rate is on the screen and what type of screen it is. It looks in this simulated image to have a pretty good resolution, but if this resolution has a bad refresh rate, that would be bad for like VR. I do feel that there is a missed opportunity to not have by not having a camera here. Oh, let me go back. By not having a camera here and then a camera on the back. I mean, a front-facing camera right here or right here, and then one back-facing camera on the other side of it would make this even more useful because you could take pictures and whatnot. Most people will be like, oh, this is my little tiny Netflix screen. And they'll be able to, like, for example, you sit down like in the kitchen or whatnot, or you just put it on your bedstand and then you just operate your Netflix with one of these little things. You can just take that off there and operate it independently. That's what some people are going to use this for. It would make sense for this to have a touchscreen. If this has a capacitive touchscreen, similar to what I have here on my OLED monitor, that will be excellent. And that would also explain why it's got a microphone right here, a microphone port right there, and the speakers right here. Interesting. It will be interesting to see what they do with this. I'm pretty sure it also has the motion controls, because come on. Splatoon's good with like dual stick, but it's one of those things where motion controls are a necessary thing. This looks pretty good actually. I'm not gonna lie, I like it. Oh, here, let me bring this up a bit. You have your power button up here, your audio like up here, headphone jack right over here, although it might have an SD card. You might be able to add an SD card to this. But yeah, your game card goes here. I'm guessing they haven't shown us the very bottom of this, but I would not be surprised if at the very bottom of this is when you have your battery, which when they showed the backing of this, it didn't look like the battery was accessible, which kind of surprises me. Maybe there's a way to pop off the back panel and attach a battery to it where you can so you can get to the battery Nintendo probably would not have a closed-off battery on this. That would be kind of disastrous. I mean, this is definitely a prototype of the product here, not an actual working one. But this one right here, where they have the fence, I'm guessing this has a pretty it puts out a little bit of heat. So in order to do that, they're going to have a user-accessible battery and make that work properly. So I'm guessing when you take off the back panel, that's when you'll be able to. That is when you will be able to replace like an SDHC card or whatnot. That's probably what it has for storage. But yeah, this is the Nintendo Switch. This was a close look at that, and then we're gonna go over and I'm not gonna list off the people who are attached to this particular system currently. Instead, I'm just going to put up the logos for it and show those off, rather, at the end of this video. So, tell me what you think of the Nintendo Switch. Are you looking forward to it? What games do you want to see on it? How do you think they're going to handle, like, downloadable backwards compatibility? Because stuff that's digital shouldn't be too hard to pull through on this, especially since it looks like, you'll see, it's running a lot of the older game engines. Should be interesting to see how that works on the Nintendo Switch. I really like the logo, especially since it is a yin and yang type thing. But yeah, tell me what you think of the Nintendo Switch, and hit those comments below with that. Share this video with your friends, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and until the next video comes out, you are now caught up.